This is GMSEnduringServant. We know that the powers that be never let a crisis go to waste. And it seems that there's one churned up right now, and it may just catch many people off guard. We've had insiders warning and warning about the inflation and the printing of money for years now. But we're on the cusp of a CBDC being rolled out, and the power being given to the government to track any and every move everyone makes worldwide with the US dollar. Now, banks are closing up at a record pace. We had 54 just close up in this past week. AI and robots moving in all over the place. And the warning signs are definitely there. The financial crisis, so to speak, is going to be rolled out so that they can send emergency funds to the people that need it via these digital wallets. Now, there's about to be a huge event that most people don't even see coming. Yahoo Finance has already let the cat out of the bag and other places on speaking about the recall that is about to take place. That's right, a recall. And because most people are turning the cheek the other way or sticking their head in the sand, they're going to get blindsided by this. And I compare it to the Nixon shock. I'm going to go ahead and call it the Biden shock. When they come out and they announce the recall of the US dollar. This has never happened in your lifetime, nor will it ever again. This is going to be one of those once-in-a-lifetime moves that you better be prepared for. They're going to call this back. They're going to say that you can turn it in for a CBDC in exchange. And this is going to start a frenzy. And you're going to see right then if people en masse are going to accept this in the United States or if they're going to reject it like they did in Nigeria and other places. These people woke up to see that this is all about tracking when it comes to the blockchain and its technology. We also had the feds come out this week and admit there's major privacy concerns when it comes to the CBDC. And they said it right out in the open, but it seemed like no one was listening. So everything is in motion and the stage is set that by November 1st, 2 p.m. in the afternoon, the Biden regime could come out and make an announcement from that point on, at any time from that point on, about a recall on the US dollar. I'm telling you right now, most people are about to get absolutely blindsided by this. Join me on the live streams where I talk about this in greater detail. What you
Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, hopefully elect. All right, and hey, Lord willing, more exciting news. Another step. As far as the next phase of prophecy, as my man here, double seven, touched on, as far as this, what appears to be maybe this like another one of these beta runs, or as far as this, and I do have another video that I want to play. It's a little bit more lengthy because you see, I was originally going to title this somewhere along the lines of Esau and his sleight of hand. All right, because while everyone is distracted, their attention is focused over here. Nevertheless, Esau, he's doing things over there, in the other direction. All right, and mainly while this situation with Israel and Hamas is taking off. All right, and again, that being a distraction, for the most part, everyone's attention is being focused on that situation. Nevertheless, there's like this not really being reported on in the mainstream media, but there's like this silent epidemic of these bank failures and bank closures, which again, no one's really talking about. And with that being said, man, because I don't want to talk too much, we got to be close, because as the Spirit has been on certain of the apostles and certain elders and brethren about how, because we see everything that's going on and we get excited, but understanding that certain prophecies do have to take place. All right. And one of the major prophecies that we are on the lookout for obviously being that MOTB, the Revelation 13, 16, and 17, right? Which this is, again, another step towards, all right, you know, because I gotta, you know, do more research and as far as this possible recall that's supposed to be taking place, all right, you know, and like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this next video, you know, just to give a more in-depth breakdown to what's going on.
While you're watching what happens across the world,
I'm gonna go ahead and just because I do want to get through this video, I'm gonna just go ahead and speed it up just a little bit, so bear with me.
And even in the Russian-Ukraine situation, what's happening here? It's amazing. When we're worried about this, we should be worried about this. This year, and even in this last few weeks, we've seen major problems with our banking. Let's talk about today's video and how it impacts you more than anything happening. This video starts right now. Being here, we are inside today because we're actually out of state. We're having to do some things out of state. So if you're new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm glad that you're here today. Now let's talk about some of the things that we're missing. We're missing the fact of what's actually happening here in America while our focus is on everywhere else. We need to focus here. Now we've talked about focusing on our border. We've talked about focusing on the fact that the speaker situation is in shambles. We are a joke when it really comes to the world. We have a feeble old man leading us, so there's a lot going on. But one thing we're missing. Did you know, just in this year, and just in October, bank failures and bank collapses and bank closures are astronomical. They're up tremendously. Let's talk about the numbers and how it affects you. I'm reading from a Zero Hedge article from Michael Schneider. It says, during the first week of October alone, U.S. banks closed a whopping 54. Bank of America closed 21 of their branches. Wells Fargo closed 15. And so in 1 week alone, the biggest banks closed over 54 branches. Now, you'll believe that's a banking issue, a banking crisis, and also that. And really not that. Think about it. Your access to your money. If your local Wells Fargo, your local Chase closed down, even though later than national bigger banks, how do you know your money is safe when you have to go down the road? You can't actually get it from that one that you were used to getting it from. So 54 locations just in 1 week alone. Last year alone, you know, when this crisis really started, there was over 2,000 banks closed. Branches or main staples closed last year. And the thing is, it's not going to get any better. Here's why. We deal with the housing crisis way from that, and it's going to come back around because houses are too inflated and interest is costing too much. People are not buying too much house; they're spending too much for less house now. You're paying too much per square foot, so that's going to be a problem in itself. But here's the real kicker: the major crisis is going to happen because interest rates have went up. You're going to see a commercial crisis, a commercial credit crisis. Money that has been borrowed.
Now this is pretty much, for the most part, the meat of this video, because I'm gonna go ahead and get this in Revelation. I don't want to do too much talking. But, you know, you do got a lot of Jake out there, man, and, you know, they just really don't know and understand the depths of these things, you know, and what's really going on. So just through the Spirit, just Lord willing, try to break this down as simple as possible. But nevertheless, and of course, you know, gone over this time in and time out, but, you know, hey, we don't get tired of, you know, going over these things, as a lot of us are repetitive, which is really the Heavenly Father's repetitive, you know. And hey, you know, repetition, as Apostle Gabar says, being the father of skill. But I want to get this because, again, this is another step towards this right here in Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, you see, and that causeth, all right, when we go into it, is to set up, to make ready, all right. And as far as this system, the system for the MOTB to be fully rolled out, all right. You know, if you've been paying attention, especially within this year alone, you know, with the Fed now being rolled out and just the talks more and more of the CBDCs, all right. Again, this whole system, it's a whole system of things. It's lucky. Bear with me real quick, man. Driving with these numbnuts, man. You gotta be extra cautious. But lost my train of thought, so I'm gonna go ahead and read Revelation 13 and 16 again. It says, he causeth all. So again, it's a system. Ultimately, what Esau wants to set up, you know, this system as far as everyone getting basically plugged into the system, and that way, ultimately, everyone would have to bow down and worship Esau as the Most High. That's ultimately what it boils down to. All right, everyone being plugged into the system. All right, to the image of the beast. All right, that's what the image of the beast is. It's the system. You see, and the ultimate form of what they call selling your soul to the devil. All right, is going to come in the form of that MOTB, and anyone that takes that MOTB, well, Lord willing, get into that in another video, because once you take that MOTB, there's no coming back from it. All right, you can't repent from it. But reading on, it says all, both small and great, rich and poor. So that's the point that I wanted to get out of this verse right here. All right, the rich and the poor, because as we've seen, starting back in 2020, all right, and everything that's been happening up to this point, the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer, the poor getting poorer, the doing away of the middle class, And with that being said, with what's been going on all year, in the past few years, with all these bank failures and closures, these big banks buying out these little banks, smaller banks, all right, which ultimately it really just goes back to more control. All right, more control for the top wicked elites. You see, so more and more we're going to see a lot of these smaller banks getting bailed out by these bigger banks, so that Esau can have more control of the people's monies. All right, but nevertheless, like I said, this is pretty much the meat of this video. As he's going to break this down. So this is the point, really.
So, but here's the real kicker. The major crisis is going to happen because the interest rates have went up. You're going to see a commercial crisis, a commercial credit crisis. Money that has been borrowed from business sides that have maybe adjustable rate mortgages, some kind of balloon that's supposed to take place. Also, people are not going back to the offices. Leases are falling through. Businesses are struggling. So therefore, the banking is backing those businesses. Commercial businesses typically were pretty easy to take on that risk. So a lot of banks were able to invest in them, give them high risk money because they want to have a reward. Well, now all of a sudden, when the money is not free anymore and the interest rates are higher, you're going to see a lot of these big companies not being able to pay.
As you see, the fact that they keep with these interest rates, rising interest rates, it gets harder to, it gets more expensive for people to borrow money. All right, it gets harder for a lot of these banks to give out these loans, which in turn is going to affect a lot of these businesses, as we've been seeing. All right, and more of these businesses are going to go out of business. So he's going to break. He's going to continue to break it down.
Bankruptcies in this year alone are up 61%. 61%. That will affect the bank's bottom line because now they're having to assume the liability for the businesses that are not paying them back the interest and the money of principal. And also, banks are over-lending. They're not able to have that fractional reserve, and they don't have the money to back. They're struggling with money. The banks are actually looking at the Fed to say, please keep the emergency door open so they can keep borrowing money from the Fed. Well, the Fed is actually down too, if you've seen the balance sheet. So we're seeing a banking crisis that shut down thousands of banks last year and is already shuttering hundreds of banks this year, and it's not getting any better. When you start seeing
So you see, because I wanted to make the point about, like you mentioned, with the whole fractioning of reserve. All right. Because it's all based off of debt. All right, it's all based off of debt. And actually, we'll wind this back. Bear with me.
1%. That will affect the bank's bottom line because now they're having to assume the liability or the businesses that are not paying them back the interest and the money of principal.
So these banks, they loan this money out, right? Mainly with these businesses. All right, speaking specifically about these businesses, and these businesses, they're not able to pay these banks back, which in turn is, when you really get into it, it's really going to cause this crazy domino effect. All right, it's going to be catastrophic with what's getting ready to happen. The fact that, again, these businesses, they can't pay these banks back, and in turn, well, obviously, whose money is in these banks? It's the consumers. It's the average folk out here. You see? So one day, people are going to try to go to the bank. And this is one reason why they keep this on the hush. They keep this on the low, because if this gets out, all right, such and such bank filing for bankruptcy or whatever the case may be, so some news like that breaks out, you're going to have all type of bank runs, people rushing to the banks to try to take their money out, which the bank is only liable to give you what's that? They're only liable to hold up to 10% of your whatever you have in the bank. So just because you have $100,000 on screen, all right, that doesn't mean that's what's actually in the bank. You try to go out to the bank and take out $100,000, it's not going to be there. Again, they're only liable to hold up to 10%. The rest of that money, they loan it out. You see, so that's the whole point. That's the whole gist of it. All right. The fact that they're loaning people's money out, and they're not able to get that money back. They're not able to get these people's monies back. You see, again, it's going to be a whole cascading effect. It's going to be a whole crazy domino effect, man. It's going to be redonkulous, man.
And also, banks are over-lending. They're not able to have that fractional reserve, and they don't have the money to back. They're struggling with money. The banks are actually looking at the Fed to say, please keep the emergency door open so they can keep borrowing money from the Fed. Well, the Fed is actually down too. Have you seen their balance sheet? So we're seeing a banking crisis that shut down thousands of banks last year and is already shuttering hundreds of banks this year, and it's not getting any better. When you start seeing the bigger banks buy in the little banks, what you're seeing, the regional banks, you're starting to see the problems with commercial credit. When we changed the interest rate over the last year or two, basically, and it's climbed up. Remember, most businesses have loans based on 1, 3, or 5-year lock-ins, meaning after that they're going to balloon or adjust. So if you start seeing some of those adjust this next year, because it may be the third year of all these interest rate hikes, do you believe these businesses can make it? If they can't, they're going to cause more stress for the banks. So what does that mean for us? I think there's two things that's going to happen. Either you're going to see more bailouts over the next few years, where they bail the banks out, or they let the banks get assumed by the bigger banks, such as the J.P. Morgan Chases and the Bank of Americas and the U.S. banks and the Citigroups. If you start seeing that, you're going to see the movement to where government and big banking are tied together. It almost reminds you of how government and...
So you see that? Did you hear that part right there? Government being tied to... Slocky, I'm parking. I'm going to go ahead and park so I can concentrate more. I'm going to play that part back. Because again, like I said, ultimately, it comes down to more control. All right? More control. That's why, the grand scheme of things, when it comes to these top wicked elites, they want to, do away with I believe 90%. They want to do away with over 90% of the world population. All right? They want to get rid of all these useless leaders or whatnot, because hey, the less numbers, the easier it is to control. The better it is to control. And it's the same thing with these banks and just everything in general. The less, the better. All right, to be controlled. So I'm gonna play that part back.
Citigroups. If you start seeing that, you're going to see the movement to where government and big banking are tied together. It almost reminds you of how government and pharmaceuticals are tied together, government and big food are tied together. It's just tying up all those loose ends. Where you wanted to go to your local mom and pop bank down the road and you could trust the loan officer that has your money and you can see the banking financials, see that they're strong, that day and time I think is gone. And you're going to see the bailouts. Well, what does that do? The bailouts cost you money. So if they take over these banks or they keep putting money in there, it's going to make government power in these banks, and they're going to set policy based on what they believe. You're not going to have an
And you see, man, that's another, the more and more these banks get bailed out, if they go that route, all right, the more and more stipulations and, well, listen, we're giving you, all this money. Well, hey, you basically, you got to abide by these rules or else, because you see certain of these, like out here in Florida, this guy DeSantis, which he's nothing but controlled opposition. All right. He's a devil. All right. Basically speaking out against this whole system, and we're not going to do CBDCs and things of that nature, but that's only going to get you but so far. All right. That's only going to last but so long. All right. Because again, it's a whole system, and you know, the however the elites play it out. Listen, everyone's going to get down with this program, man, except for the elect. You know, but everyone else, they're going to get down with the program. DeSantis, Trump, all these people that so-called speak at, you know, all these controlled oppositions speaking out or whatnot. All right, it's only going to go but so far. All right.
Independent banking financial system, you're going to have it fully dependent on the government and on the Fed. So what does that actually mean? Here's the main thing. If the government has more power over the banks, there's not as many small local banks or federal credit unions because they've all been absorbed by the bigger banks. The bigger banks are tied to the Fed. So now you have the Fed, the big banks are all tied together, and then you have the government. Well, what has the government been wanting to push? A global push for CBDCs, a more digitized currency. Well, that's already happening. The bigger banks are already accepting that. You see some big banks pushing certain cryptos. They're coming out with their new coins. What are they doing? They're setting up for this CBDC. So while we're worried about everything going on and we're promising hundreds of billions of dollars across the world, all the while our banking financial system is literally crumbling. Did you see that Janet Yellen, our Treasury Secretary, said that if the interest rates stay high and they keep going up, the U.S. government is going to struggle paying their own debts? Go back and look at it. She said that it would literally struggle paying its own debts. And remember, it's hurting you more than it's hurting the government. They can keep printing money. You can't. So all the while you're watching everything going on across the world, the banking industry is struggling. And the banking industry struggling is going to cause for more problems for us to keep cash. And you're going to see our financial institutions start deteriorating, going back to a big bank, a globalist push, a more...
And we're already seeing that. We've been seeing it. Like I said, it's more so really like a silent epidemic. Because again, if this type of information gets out there, you're gonna have people, you know, these banks they would crumble overnight, man. They're through. You know, out of fear, you would have all these bank runs, people run to the ATMs. All right, so that's why I played the first clip with Dabu 7. All right, with the supposed pilot program that is supposed to be taking place come November. You know, this recall. All right. You know, of cash and the coins and and trade it in for all steps toward one more step towards the MOTB, right? I'm gonna go ahead and finish this out.
A world-style bank, CBDC comes right on you, which means your privacy is gone. There's an article that came out that said the more that CBDC comes in, the more that we digitize all our money, the less privacy you have, because someone of some facet will know what you're purchasing. Either your credit card companies know, either the companies that you're using the direct drives know, or the cash apps know, the way you use your phone knows. The only way that you can get out of it is bartering in cash. Well, if they struggle, if they make the banks struggle, the banks sell out or get absorbed, the big banks believe the Fed, they work together with the government and make CBDC come in, then they control your money. Remember, our system only works when people spend money. It's a debt-driven, consumer-driven style economy. That's not good. I wish we were back on the gold standard. But because we are consumer-based and credit and debt-based, what does that mean? They need you spending money. If they make CBDCs happen and they put certain stipulations where you have to spend it in a certain amount of time, almost like a grant, where you're granted this money, but if you don't use it, it goes away, then what are you going to do? You're going to spend your money. You can't save money. Then you are at the beck and call of the government. The beck and call of the big bank. And that's a big deal. Focus on what's happening here in America.
So you see, man, it's all about control for these top wicked elites at the end of the day. All right. And nevertheless, this is what's going on. While, the sleight of hand, like I said, everyone's distracted over here. Meanwhile, this thing's Slovakia. While things are happening over there, things are happening over here. A lot of major things are taking place and going down. So hey, Lord willing, just steps closer to one of the major prophecies that we ought to be on the lookout for. Because like I said before, we see things happening. Of course, we get excited, but that's why I did a video a few weeks ago about just how you can't get disenchanted, or we can't get disenchanted. Because we know that certain prophecies have to play out, man, and this MOTB being mandated, that's one of the major prophecies. All right. And just me personally, I'm just speaking for myself, because like I said, we see certain things happening and, oh shit, we get excited and this has happened for many brothers, I'm sure, it's happened to myself. Things didn't happen, the second coming of Yahushua didn't happen, right? All hell didn't break loose, right? When we thought it was going to happen. Because like I did a video a few weeks ago, about a lot of these guys. You know, they give specific dates, and when those dates come around, nothing happens, and you know, Jake gets to they lose patience. Jake gets disenchanted, right? Well, me personally, I'm just speaking for myself. All right, when this thing comes around, and this has also been in the talks as well, as far as those CBDCs, you know. And the Spirit had me say this a while ago, or somewhere along the beginning of this year, about those CBDCs and how, because we don't know, all right, we don't know. And was just speaking expressly through the Spirit when I made the statement about how the CBDC they could very well be the MOTB. You know, it could very well be the MOTB. However, Esau plays it out. Because ultimately, we know that the MOTB is an insertable device. You know, and when I made that statement earlier this year about that, you know, about the CBDC being the MOTB, you know, after the fact, it was eat my spirit because, you know, I was like, why the hell did I say that? You know, why did I say that? Why did I say that? Because, you know, it might give the wrong impression off or whatever. All right. But later on down the road, come to find out that, you know, and it brought my spirit at ease a little bit because that was the talks for you know, a little while about the CBDC being this implantable device, you know. So that was a little bit of relief. All right, you know, it was a little bit of relief, but like I was saying, just speaking for myself, you know, once that if it in fact does turn out to be that MOTB, or, you know, some sort of insertable device that you got to take, well, the hell with that. Just the MOTB in general, all right? You know, that's when I'm going to get excited, because this is what the apostles, they stress it all the time, all right? And this is what we've been waiting on. This is one of the major prophecies that we're waiting on. So once that comes about, like I said, me personally, I'm going to get excited. You know, like I said, yeah, you know, everything is popping off right now. World War III is at the brink, you know, and all these other things are happening. All right. You know, we get a little excited, but once that MOTB, you know, hey, everyone has to come and take this thing. That's what, hey, you know, that's what I'm going to get excited. All right. Because once that MOTB is mandated, hey, things are really going to pick up. All right. And Yahweh Shai is really at the door. You know, he's really at the door, man. You know, but nevertheless, you know, because when you really dig into this, as far as this whole the economics and the CBDCs and just the direction that this is going, you know, it's a real in-depth topic. All right, you know, because there's many layers on this onion to peel. You know, and that's why I said at the end of it, man, it's going to be a real cascading effect. It's going to be a real domino effect, man. You know, and that's why, basically, long story short, as it's being rumored, speculation, all right, because obviously, you know, we just have to wait and see what they do as far as this pilot test or whatever, you know, beta test run or whatever they want to do for November, you know, the recall, all right, of the monies and the, you know, the coins and whatnot. Obviously, we just have to wait and see, but we know eventually, all right, eventually, you know, I'm gonna get this in two more precepts, Ezekiel 7:19. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. All right, hey, you know, that said a lot right there. You know, because the modern day, you know, transactions, you know, buying and selling pursuant to Revelation 13, right? You know, the modern day silver and gold and, you know, doing business transactions is that fiat currency, man. You know, the petrodollar. All right, which more and more, you know, that's you know, vanishing away, is going away, man. You know, it's getting too expensive. It's getting more and more expensive to borrow money, you know, to lend money. You know, and that's why I said, just long story short, they're just gonna have to. Or it appears that they're just gonna have to do a total recall, man. You know, they're just gonna have to do a total recall and trade your money in, and for however much you turn such and such and you get a certain amount of tokens, or however it plays out. All right, but this, as brothers have said time in and time out, in order to bring in the new system, you have to do away with the old system. You have to crash the old system. So this is just steps towards, and like I said at the latter part of this verse, it said, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. So you see, because hey, well, how am I going to eat? How am I going to take care of my family, pay bills, and well, hey, ultimately we got to put our trust in Yahweh Shema Shai. But we know the deal is with 2/3 of our people, man. They're gonna, they're too attached to the system. All right, they're just too attached. They're too involved. All right. You see, so when that MOTB does come around, hey, they're gonna go down there willingly and do what they think that they got to do. But like I said, it's gonna be a stumbling block. All right, let me get another one. Zephaniah 1. Because all these niggas like Floyd Mayweather, they love to flaunt all those hundreds of millions of dollars. That shit's gonna be worthless real soon. And just because you turn in let's say you turn in $100,000, all right, for some CBD tokens or whatever, that doesn't mean you're gonna, you'll be lucky to get a fraction of that, or get a third of that, or half of that, or whatever. You're not gonna get the full amount. So it's just gonna be total chaos at the end of the day, man. Man, this shit is gonna blow over, and it's gonna blow over double fold, man. 10 times fold, man. 10 times over. This shit is gonna blow over. But I'm going to get Zephaniah 1 and 18. It says, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. All right, so that's the point, man. That, all this too much dollars in circulation. All right. It is, again, man, long story short, man, it's just getting to a point where they just have to do some type of recall. All right, trading your dollars for tokens, coins, digital, whatever, however they play it out, whatever the terms that they want to put on it. All right, and that's why, like I said before, when I made the statement about the CBDCs could possibly be the MOTB, because Esau, he likes to package things up and make it look pretty or whatever. So that's why I said, however he plays it, however he wants to tie it up and make it look neat and pretty, however he puts it, man, whatever terminology he wants to use. All right. Nevertheless, whether he comes out and says this is, the MOTB is, whether he actually comes out with that insertable device, or however it plays out, the spirit is going to be on us, Lord, want to wear that number, man. We're going to know what the deal is. All right. We're going to know the deal is, and the elect, they're going to say, nope. All right. Matter of fact, let me get this, and I'll probably end it off in Romans. Because going back to the point about how it's a system. All right. Just like when you read about Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All right, how they didn't bow down to worship the image, right? Romans chapter 11 and verse 4, it says, but what saith the answer of God unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men. 7 is going into completion. All right, and in this sense, the elect, all right, whoever they are, we're just hoping to be a part of that number. All right. It says, who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. So again, that image. All right. I'm going to see what this word image says. Because, if I think it's going to say what I think it says, then Oh, bear with me. Get this word for image. Bear with me, man. This thing's not I can't look this up right now. Yeah, it's not letting me look it up. It's giving me a hard time, but you know, that image, like when you read about in Revelation, when it talks about the image of the beast. All right. Matter of fact, let me get that. Let's see if this works. Let me see if I could do this. So yeah, I was able to look this word up, image, in Revelation 13 and 15. I'll just get to it. The word image. It says a figure, likeness. Used of the moral likeness of renewed men of God, the image of the Son of God, into which true Christians are transformed, is likeness not only to the heavenly body, but also to the most holy and blessed state of mind which Hamashiach possesses. The image of one in whom the likeness of anyone is seen, applied to man on account of his power of command, to Hamashiach on account of his divine nature and absolute moral excellence. So that's the thing. As a matter of fact, when you go to the strong definitions, it says a statue, a profile, or representation or resemblance. And I was going to say, you see, we are being transformed into the image of Yahweh Shema Shai. Lord willing, we're at that number. But 2/3, they're being transformed into the image of Esau Edom. All right, the God of this world, lowercase g. You see? So that's why back in that Romans 11, man, all right, the Lord, he has a set group of individuals. They're not going to bow to this devil, man. They're not going to be transformed. As a matter of fact, they're going to be taken out of this world, refurbished, refined, all right, and be transformed into the image of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right. So with that being said, they're not going to, whatever Esau's got to offer them, they're going to say the hell with that. They're going to say the hell with Esau. But 2/3, hey, they're going to give in. And that's why I said earlier about, hey, because 2/3, they're already sold out. They're already giving it to the image. It's just that the what do you call it? How's the saying go? The deal sealer, all right, the cherry on top is going to be that MOTB. All right. The ultimate form of what they call selling your soul. All right. You see, that's going to be the ultimate stamp right there. All right. But nevertheless, hey, this is what's going on. All these bank closers, these bank failures, big bank taking little bank, more control. All right. It's all leading to this major prophecy, man. So, hey, we just have to, of course, see how this plays out. See, what happens next. But we got to almost, man, we're close. We're close, man. We're about to get up. The Lord is getting ready to get us out of here. He's getting ready to deliver us without a shadow of a doubt, man. So, hey, Lord willing, the next phase of prophecy. All right. But Abba Ratazadas was edifying. All praises to Yahweh Shema Shai, and shalom to you, hopefully elect.